We are in an amazing timeline. We are in the best time in the whole history ever. And in my journey of healing and learning about psychology and other practices, I have realized that we use terminologies in different areas and different sectors, and we kind of separates them and try to understand each thing. But what I have understood is that nothing is separate. Everything is connected, interconnected with each other. And so I really wanted to start this series about how to understand age old spiritual wisdom and connected with modern psychology. So, in this series, I'm going to be talking about those spiritual words and how what does it look like in psychological terms. Because throughout my psychological studies, I have noticed that there were people who were able to do research, and the way they thought and the thinking process was very similar to a lot of spiritual wisdom that we come across through different books and scriptures and texts. So let's decipher some of these terminologies and see how they link up. In today's video, we are going to talk about abundance. So if you're interested, just keep watching. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Renuka, and this is a safe place where we talk all about mental health, well-being, productivity, and spirituality in today's video, especially if you're a woman. In the spiritual content creators and the niche, you will hear a lot of people talk about abundance. And what I learned was that abundance is a state of being. It's not really that you have everything, because think about it. How can everyone be at the same level? Like, how can everybody be rich? So, abundance is really a mindset. A person who is like a worker can also feel abundant because it's a mindset. A person who is also extra rich cannot be in abundant because in their brain they don't feel that there is abundance. Let's talk about what it means in the spiritual terms. So, spiritually speaking, abundance means that you are not thinking about just the material world, and you are not in the scarcity mindset where you think that if the other person gets it, you won't get it, or you feel that you don't have things. So, it's all about gratitude. It's all about feeling that you have whatever you have and you have the best in the world, or your manifestations are coming true. What you want, you're getting it, and there is somebody who's always taking care of you, and you have this kind of a feeling of being in a very safe environment where you feel that nothing bad can happen to you. But tell me honestly, can that truly happen in the real world that we live in? It cannot happen that the wrong things, or you are just unaffected by the bad things and bad things won't happen to you. By bad things, I mean you might incur some kind of a loss, or you might have a death in the family, or you might have lose your job. So there are a lot of things that can happen in your day-to-day life, but still you feel abundant. So the key words are gratitude, trust, generosity, support, and feeling safe. Now, let's break down abundance from the psychological point of view. So, the brain is known to have neuroplasticity. That means you can learn, unlearn, and you do that throughout your life. You keep learning, unlearning things, and you can change the way your brain is wired. And usually, that is linked by the thoughts we do. So, there are a lot of interventions where it is believed that your action depends on the emotions that you feel, and your emotion depends on the thought that you have. So really what is happening is that you're getting a thought in your mind, and that is kind of triggering you to have some kind of an emotion. It could be a happy emotion, it could be a sad emotion, could be anger. So have you noticed that when you're thinking about something, even if it is not happening at the moment, but when you think about certain situation, you feel like you are experiencing it right now? And that is the power of thought, and that's how it affects your emotion. And that emotion, if you are not trained to handle your emotions well, that could lead to actions, that those actions now could make you regret those actions, or that action could make you, I don't know, move to do something. So this is how it happens. Like, it starts with a thought, then it creates an emotion, and then it makes you to do an action. And there is a possibility of rewiring this thought. You can change your mind into thinking that whatever situation is, it's for the best of you. And when that starts happening, even if it is a negative situation, you will always think a positive side of, that situation. Or your brain is now trained to give you positive thoughts. So, for example, like if there is a person who is in a negative mindset, then even if you try to do something good for another person or for your friend, if they are in a negative mindset, instantly their mind will go into thinking that why is this person helping me, or why are you helping me? There has to be some kind of a hidden agenda for the reason why you're helping me. And the fact of the matter is, we always do have a hidden agenda, because there is always a transaction happening. There is always, even if you're doing a donation, there is some kind of a transaction happening. The transaction in this case is that you're giving something, and in return, you're getting that feeling of that you are capable of donating, or the feeling of goodness in you, the dopamine is happening, like you're feeling good about yourself. So there is a transaction happening all the time, right? But if you're that kind of a person who's suspicious of things, who's in a negative mindset, you will constantly keep thinking and feeling scared, insecure about things. Even if the person has an agenda, how does it matter if the person helped you? Really? If the person helped you in the time when you needed help, how does it matter? Just be grateful, right? But some people, because of their wiring in their head, are unable to do it. It could be you, and don't judge yourself because it could be you. The thing that you should do about it is, how can I use it for my benefit, or how can I grow myself? How can I make myself better so that we can have a better life experience? A lot of time I used to think that why do people keep saying that you need to learn and constantly improve yourself? It's not because you have to learn some kind of a skill or you need to uplift yourself. It's nothing like that. The reason why people say that you need to learn and improve yourself and to make is only because when you do that, when you expand yourself, you are able to have a better experience of life instead of a very limiting experience of life. So when you work on your mind, on the way your brain is wired, you really are putting yourself in a space where you enjoy the little things in our life, and the whole experience of living becomes so worthwhile. Even if those, the setbacks are still happening, you will still be grounded. You will allow those emotions to come into you, feel them, and then you will be resilient to move ahead in life. You will not be attached to people, things, or places. You will be more interested. You will be more grounded in yourself. And that is the reason why we need to improve ourselves all the time and learn things. So yeah, that is the power of our brain. It is neuroplastic. You can always rewire it. How does it affect your life? The moment you have positive thinking, the moment you have rewired your brain to have positive thinking, every experience in your life is about expansion, about connection with people. You are not limiting yourself by feeling scared that something will happen. You know how crippling could it be for a person who is scared of the fear that something might happen or they might die? So that is such a limiting feeling where you cannot go out and live your life. You are scared that this might happen, that might happen. There's another way where you are a bit careful about things, and there's another way where you are living your life to the fullest and not regretting that this happened, that happened. You are always constantly looking at the brighter side. Number two, when you have this kind of a situation, like when you have a positive outlook, you will be surrounded by positive, similar people. And I can tell you that negative people will also be attracted to your energy, because everyone, even the animals, the birds, everybody wants to be around positive person. When there's a nagging person, irritating person, or always cribbing or finding faults in people, always upset, always regretting about the decisions in their life, nobody wants to be with them. Haven't you seen a lot of youngsters? They don't want to be around, the aging population. The reason is not that they are, repulsed by the aging population. The reason is people are tired. I'm not saying just the elderly population, but even the younger generation, they do feel tired of the emotions, and nobody wants to. People don't have that kind of energy to absorb your negative energy. Also, every living being wants to be in a positive way. Like how they say, if you say positive words, the plants will also grow healthier. If you are in a negative energy, nobody wants to be in that environment. So you will also attract negative people. But you know what happens? That if you have a positive outlook towards life, you will let them be. You will not allow their behavior, their toxicity to drain you down, pull you down, and tire you. You will always be like focused in your work, in your life, and just living your life. And you will not allow these people to enter your close circle. You will be more mindful of bringing very selective people in your close circle. And that really develops or enhances the flavor of the life that we live. Number three, you wouldn't be scared of letting things go. And it can be applied to material things, it can be applied to people, it can be applied to situations. So when you are in a positive outlook, you will not feel threatened that people are out there to take your things. You will be okay to let it go. And in spirituality, it is said that energy loves to flow. And when you give things out of your hand and give it to others, you are allowing that energy to flow. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be donation. It can also be like using that money to get some kind of a service from another person. And that feeling is not, oh my God, that person is going to take money from me. It's so expensive. That person is going to take my money. The feeling would be more like, wow, I get to use this money and I get to experience this wonderful service. And I'm so glad that this money is going to this person who has spent his, I don't know, work or life or passion onto building this product or service. And that's a very, very good energy to pass on or connect with money. That detachment is very, very essential for you to feel abundance. And it's sometimes very difficult to achieve. And it sometimes sounds very simplistic. But usually, most of our problems are simple and the solutions are simple but difficult to practice. So, here are a few things that you can do to like develop a feeling of abundance. Number one is everyday gratitude, like everyday practice of listing down a few things that you are grateful about. And that really puts you in that happy zone where you feel like you have a lot and you're unappreciative of those things. And then suddenly puts you in a zone where you think that you have actually more than maybe like 80% of the world population. It's not putting yourself down out in competition. Like you would feel like, why should I compare myself to the one below? I should be comparing myself to the one above me. You can only go above when you feel good about yourself. You cannot feel good about yourself. You cannot succeed in life.